And they even see it, and that even makes it worse. But we're evil. We're pure evil. I don't care. Ladies and gentle mages, civilians across the multiverse, welcome back to another episode of Man of Man, and today we've got a juicer for you. We are picking locks with fairies, and I'm going to give a quick little shout out to the Picklock Prankster. I see a lot of different decks with fairies, obviously, but this is I think this is like so low-key underrated of all of the fairies. Obviously, we already have like the Talion, the Kindly Lure. I'm 2-3 weeks late on all of this Dimir stuff. We know that this deck is good, so I won't spare you a whole lot of going on with the Talion. The only two things I'll pretty much get into regarding Dimir fairies is obviously Talion is amazing, and let's go into this really quickly. So I was actually going for the Mastermind. The Mastermind I don't think is actually the best way to play this. I think the best way to play this is going for Faerie Vandal, drawing your second card each turn, and then there's a bunch of ways we can really abuse this. There's the Talion's Messenger, which draws a card, which is kind of like Connive, but better. Obviously, Kaito, I'm not going to go into Kaito. We all know what this does. If you don't, hey, pause to read. It is what it is. It's a very good card. And then we have the Likeness Looter. This is actually just a one-of Silver Bullet, but it's a very good Silver Bullet. Draw a card, then discard a card. Or, so you can actually use the Faerie Vandal and kind of pump it up that way. Or you can have it become a copy, which having it become a copy of a Sleep-Cursed Faerie in your graveyard for 1 is great. But how do you do that? Again, we're going to go back to the Picklock Prankster, and then you can use the mill ability. So this is pretty much our only self-mill, except for the 2 Surveil from the Faerie Dreamthief. But this card, it just makes it's like those, you have this, and this card makes everything connect. That's why I love this Picklock Prankster so much. With the Vigilance as well, you can swing in and just completely ward off stuff like mono red. With like Talion's Messenger, you can just swing in. If you can get this up to 4 toughness with one of the Talion's Messenger, this thing just becomes, it just takes over games because it has the Vigilance. They can't swing in. You keep swinging in the air. Vigilance. Absolutely love this Picklock Prankster. So again, I mean, obviously we know what the Dreaming Duelist does, the Faerie Fencing, and the Ego Drain. We know what the Sleep-Cursed Faerie does. Obviously, Flying Ward is absolutely amazing. So if you're not familiar with this deck, I apologize for the lack of I don't really go through the nooks and crannies of every single card because we kind of typically, if you're a Magic player, you kind of know what these cards do. But I did want to especially give a shout out to the Picklock Prankster. So I think that's my little niche on the deck. But before we get into the gameplay, let's go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and hit the like button. The like button looks just like this. Helps out the channel tremendously. If you do that, I would appreciate that so much. And without further ado, let's get ready to vanquish some enemies. Aleph, how are we doing here? Let's go ahead and keep this. We do have the Likeness Looter. I think with all of the South Mill kind of cards that we have in our deck, I kind of do like this thing. Especially, it's kind of like the in-between piece, if you know what I'm talking about. Because it draws a card, discards a card, which we need for the Faerie Vandal. And then it also can become a copy of like the cursed one. So, alright here, alright. This deck actually is not that big of a problem. There's plenty of ways to deal with it. We're not going to let them go in for the invasion of Alara. First off, I think it is worth to go for the Ego Drain, even if we had to exile a card, because this card is pretty much like a one-trick pony. It's also a one-card pony. So let's go ahead and end the turn here. Then we'll have one more turn. This stupid freaking raccoon. We're not letting them. So Jetmir's Garden, they would need a blue source, but you know that they're going to find it out. They're going to find it. So they actually don't. They actually don't have a blue source for the invasion of Alara, and you know they always open with it too, which is kind of annoying. They are gonna swing. Ooh, do we just trade here? Do we trade here? I'm gonna lean no. We're just trying to scare him. We're just trying to scare him here. If we can bait out removal or something, we don't care at all either way. But I think we're gonna want this Ego Drain. So that's why you don't do that. So that is exactly why you don't do that. It's not at the end of the world because we still have a Faerie Vandal and we'll still be able to Ego Drain, but yeah, I thought about trading and then I decided, nah, we shouldn't do that. And now I'm getting a little bit nervous because we got the Bramble Familiar. Should we try to cut them at the button? I think we should. Let's go again and get rid of the Bramble Familiar rather than their big spells. By the time that comes, hopefully, we can either have a counter or a removal because we're going to remove this Bramble Familiar too. So they need 8 for this, they need 7 for a Tally, and then 7 for Virtue of Persistence, and another Bramble Familiar. Ooh-wee, okay. Okay, very well. Let's see what we got. Darkslick Shores, worst draw in the deck, not bad. Okay, let's see, we got Likeness Looter, doesn't really help us, the Dreaming Duelist doesn't really help us. I think our only play I think our only play is to go in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think we have to play this, kill a familiar, and then we're just gonna, I guess we should have played the Darkslick Shores. We're gonna have to just pray to the high heavens that they don't have it. So, because if they draw into a non-tap land here, we are screwed. So we can't let that happen. They don't have any blue sources though, so I'm not worried about that one with the multiverse at all. Yeah, they have no blue sources, 0. So this is not even slightly a concern. The Itali is a huge concern, but hopefully with the likeness looter, we can kind of find an answer, maybe some removal. Let's do this. Let's go for Faerie Dreamthief. See if we can surveil before we use the likeness looter. See if we can get either removal or another ego drain. Kaito is very good, but unfortunately in this matchup, Kaito is just not really going to cut it. So I'm actually going to get rid of the Kaito because we have to make sure we take care of this Italia or a Bramble Familiar. Otherwise, we're kind of crap out of luck here. So let's drop. I wish, man, we should drop the Darkslick Shores last turn. That's a pretty big misplay here. Let's go in for a draw card. Discard a card. The Faerie Vandal's not that big of a deal. Again, we just need. We either need if they draw, I'm just worried about if they draw us to a land. If we get an Ego Drain, Ego Drain is the best card we can draw, or if we get a counter, so we're still looking okay. Talion's Messenger. Let's go ahead and get rid of the Darkslick Shores, and then now we can go in for Talion's Messenger. Oof, this is nerve-wracking though. If they drop a land, we are looking desperately terrible. Let's go ahead and swing in and get Talion's Messenger in when we can, and the Picklock Prankster is going to have to be a keep because we can use the Picklock Prankster to dig for an answer. So I really like this card. Some people don't like it in fairies. I think this card is like, I don't know, I think it's pretty gosh darn good. So Ego Drain and Faerie Fencing, please no land. Please no untapped land. There we go. Okay, thankfully, I think we're gonna be okay. Herd Migration is not enough to do it. They're gonna have to wait a little bit of the life. They do gain life, so this is a little nerve-wracking, considering that we're still a little shaky. But I think we can, you know, just take a deep sigh of relief because we do have the Picklock Prankster, and again, I just cannot get over this card. It's so underused, criminally underused. We get another Messenger. I am not even going to wait here. Let's go ahead and free the Fae, baby. Free the Fae with the Picklock Prankster. A lot of Faerie Pranksters, I've noticed that. You got a Rankle, you got the Picklock. We could go for Spell Stutter, or we could just go for the Faerie Fencing here. Well, obviously, we're just going to have to take the Spell Stutter, but looking good. I just want to make sure I'm not making a mistake here before I go in and swing with everything. No. We don't care. Again, they have no blue sources, so they're I don't know why they're running this, because that's got to be a mistake of some sort. But we're gonna be able to counter their Itali, and they even see it, and that even makes it worse. But we're evil. We're pure evil. I don't care. Let's go get rid of that. I guess we'll keep the Talion's Messenger. Well, I guess let's go big. Let's go tall on this Faerie Vandal. Why not? Why not? Bang, bang, bang. 12. And end the turn. And we still have the Spell Stutter, so it's looking like a pretty successful lockout, but this did get a little bit sweatier than it had to be. Again, it's not over just yet. They could what? They could add one of any color, so they could go for one with the unit. It doesn't really matter what they drop here. It's going to get countered no matter what they do. And this is actually pretty smart on their part, so they're going to go in for Virtue of Persistence. Can I finish them off next turn? That would be 7, 8, 9, 10. If I go in for Talion's Messenger, I don't think that we can kill, right? I think I let this resolve. As gross as it is, I think I have to let this resolve because we can't go for lethal next turn. It doesn't feel good, but we have to, again, we have to let that resolve because I cannot let them drop an Itali. We just can't. We can't let them have it. Alright, so swing all. Talion's Messenger. I'm just going to go straight on the Faerie Vandal again. We'll get rid of another Talion. Talion's Messenger, finding the actual Talion, the Kindly Lord. A little bit of flavor there, kind of like that. So let's get let's just go straight on the Vandal here. See, like, even if we dropped into Talion's Messenger, we would still be one short. So, see, I mean, so we don't have a one drop here. No, we couldn't. We would always be one short unless I'm really missing something here. Because even if we copied something with the Likeness Looter, we don't have anything with power high enough. So, I think we're screwed no matter what we did there. We could go in for Talion the Kindly Lord. Maybe we just drop a Picklock Master. Oh, we could have won. I think we missed lethal because we could have used Likeness Looter, copied the Dreaming Duelist, and then gone in for a Picklock Prankster, and that would have done it. So we did miss lethal there. That feels absolutely terrible, but hopefully we can lock them out of something here. I'm actually probably going if we go for Talion here, and they just take another. I don't think it really matters what they take. If we just drop this, they don't have enough blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They don't have enough blue sources. So if we just drop Talion the Kindly Lord and just call 7, they can't cast the Atali. 7. Right? Am I missing something? They can't cast this. They can't cast the one with the multiverse at all. I'm not worried about that one bit. Instead of with the 2 life, we locked them out of the Italian. But yeah, we definitely missed lethal by 1 measly life with the Likeness Looter. Yeah, I think so, because that would have been an extra power on the Dreaming Duelist. It would have become a 2/2 instead of a 1, and then we could have just casted anything, the Picklock Prankster. So, oof, feels a little bit bad there, but Faerie Dreamthief, that shouldn't matter that much. I mean, they do get to Surveil 1 before now, so that's a little alarming. But the Talion is going to lock them out of the Primal Conqueror. And that feels pretty good, because you know that they are just salivating to drop this big Spinosaurus on our head, and they can't. They can't even cast the one with the multiverse, so let's see what they got. I mean, again, yeah, they would need 2 blues. They don't. So, I mean, who says fairies need to counter stuff to win the game? I don't think so. That's not true. And we take it. There we go. Talion locking out, baby. Sparta. Sparta. How you doing here? Okay, let's go ahead and keep this. We do have the Sleep-Cursed Faerie, which is a really nice start here with the Messenger and the Kaito. So we actually, other than the Kindly Lord Talion, we do only have 1 4-drop, so this is obviously a very aggressive deck. Here we go, baby. The Picklock Prankster, one of my favorite cards in the whole deck. I'm not even joking you. Now, typically, I do want to cast it for Free the Fae and then drop it for the 1/3, but versus Mono Red, and especially versus a chick, I'm just going to drop it right now. The Picklock Prankster is so good for so many different things, because with the Vigilance, you can swing in, obviously, with Vigilance and not have to worry about anything else. And then the Kaito, you can just start drawing immediately. You don't have to worry about dropping the blue ninja creature. You can just drop it, because like obviously with the Sleep-Cursed Faerie, you know, he's taking a nap. They're just taking a 3 to 4 turn nap, so we don't have to really worry about that. So the Picklock Prankster can pick off where the sleepy little fairy takes off. Alright, so Mono Red, not really the greatest. We do have Feldon. We could actually bounce here. I'm gonna do it. I know we give them we give them an opportunity, but we only do 1 damage, so it's really not that big of a deal. Let's see what they got here. Oh, the Raging Battle Mouse. That's actually pretty interesting here. Okay, but here we go, baby. Drop the Kaito, and the Picklock Prankster is probably my favorite card here in the whole deck. Some mind games, baby. This is the only mind game we have for you. Picklock Prankster, and we just ward off that Phoenix chick perfectly. Look at that. They can't block, and they can't attack because they just get picked off by the Prankster. So now we get to draw a card every single turn. Oh. What do we have here, Kaito? You found another Kaito. And we have 3 Kaitos in the deck. We do get all of them, which is kind of gross. Kind of totally takes away from the point of the card advantage that we're going to get from this, but it is what it is. Charming Scoundrel. Again, we have to be kind of careful here just because... Oh, we'll definitely have to be careful there. I think we're going to just take that. No point in chump blocking here. Now, the Sleep-Cursed Faerie, slowly but surely, getting more awake. But here's the crappy part. I mean, the 3 Kaitos here don't really do that well. I think we kind of want to go in for the Picklock Prankster, grab something, and then we can play it for the Flying Vigilance creature. I think that's probably more what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and mill 4 cards. We have to do it on our turn, unfortunately, even though you could do this with an instant. But because I'm most likely going to play the creature, depending on what we get here, and because we grab something that we actually make use of, I don't think I'm going to play the creature. But let's go ahead and swing in first. Again, with that Vigilance, so beautiful. Picklock Prankster, so underrated. Love this card so much. I'm going to go ahead and draw a card now. Okay. I do kind of want to play it right now, just so we can kind of just get it out of the way in case they have like a buff spell. And then we go ahead and get rid of that. We lose 1 off the Wicked, but I think it's probably okay. There's just, because even if they have the monster, even if they have the monstrous rage, I still think we're okay because we do -4/-4 with an extra one here. So I think we'll probably be okay just to take out the Feldon regardless. So let's wait and see if they play something crazier. They have a Squee. Yeah, it's not that big a deal. I think we're okay here. We can pick off, and we could bounce, but I think I'd rather just pick it off. All right, so let's go for the fencing here. We're gonna tap out just in case they have a buff spell here. They don't, which is nice. 1 damage. Is it more important? They actually attack the Kaito. I'm actually gonna bounce you because I'm more concerned about my life. I don't really care about the Kaito. We've got 3 or 2 more in our hand, so I'm actually gonna bounce.
I'll find another way.
I'm sorry. Don't be salty, Kaito. We have 2 more of you in our hand. Though. Don't be salty now. Don't do this to me. Okay. I think we're gonna just drop the Talion's Messenger again. This is why I love. I cannot just stop raving about Picklock Prankster. I do see a lot of. I see a lot of deck lists without it. I don't know why. It's just so good. I'm gonna swing both just because we can untap the Sleep-Cursed Faerie. So get rid of a Swampy. And let's put it on the Picklock Prankster. Sure. Bang, bang. Let's go ahead and draw a card because it's free. Why not? And we got a lot of land.
Something you don't know.
A lot of land. It's kind of yucky. We could actually drop another Picklock Prankster instead of untapping the Sleep-Cursed Faerie. And I think we're going to do that. Let's get more bodies. Let's get more bodies. I've been ranting and raving about the Picklock Prankster. And I don't know. I'm not. Maybe now, to be fair, I haven't looked at that many Faerie lists, maybe like 2 or 3 since it came out, and it has actually been a while, so there we go. So now they're swinging at my face. They've finally wizened up. See, you can attack Kaito all day. I don't care about that. Let's go ahead and kill the Squee, and I guess they could just come back with the chick, but that does force them to have a counter on it. Yeah, I don't really love that. Let's go ahead and do this. This is fine. This is fine. Down to 10. Ooh, and they lose a lot. They lose a lot of casualties there. Another fencing, and now we're starting to really win the war of attrition. Let's swing in with everything except for the messenger, because we can untap the. I don't want the messenger to attack. The messenger is doing its thing by simply just drawing cards. I think we're gonna get rid of 1 Kaito. We still have another one, which probably is not even gonna matter. I think we're okay with doing that. Let's go de facto wide, just so that both of these can survive a lightning strike now. Getting this into the proper amount of toughness is pretty gosh darn good. Another draw, because why not? Spell Stutter, oh goodness. And I think this game is probably over. We've got a Spell Stutter, we've got a Make Disappear, and a Fencing. I think it's basically over. Squee, we don't really care. Yep, this is fine. 6 to 10, mono red. What you got for us? I don't really care. Let's go in for the fence. We actually could have countered the Squee, but we're just so far ahead I didn't even really notice it. I'm gonna pay 1. I'm gonna pay 1 just so that we can untap and still have a Spell Stutter. I just stuttered there, so quite fitting. All right, so let's go ahead and untap you. Bang! And now we can pretty much just block off everything. And that is gonna be it. Picklock Prankster putting in work. Oni croissant. I just love the croissants. You know what? The croissants. I love croissants. And why did I say that? That makes no sense. Alright, Oni croissant, drop in the swamp. Let's see. We got Rakdos, we got Dimir, we got. So I would assume we're not playing fairies. We can kind of do that, because if there were fairies, they most likely would be running Ego Drain. Oh, we actually top deck a lovely Sleep-Cursed Faerie. This card is just so cracked. This card is bonkers, cracked, nuts, whatever you want to say. It's just too good. Flying Ward, and eventually you get to swing in with 3/3 and untap it for 2. This is like a tempo fairies type of dream here. So we're going against Galgari, potentially Sultai with the self-mill action going, but okay. Okay, well, let's drop the underground. Well, Yeah, so drop the Underground River and kind of pass the turn. We can flash this in. Is what it is. That's kind of the downside. You know, the Sleep-Cursed Faerie, you know, the Faerie's kind of sleeping for a while. So we can kind of get blown off the map pretty quick here. Mosswood Dread Knight. This card is absolutely good. They choose to take... If I were them, I don't know what their hand is, obviously, but I would probably want to be putting down the 3/2 Trampler. I think it's probably more important to get the body down versus this type of... Okay. So they're wanting to go kind of toe for toe. But I think we'll be okay. Let's go ahead and flash in the Dreaming Duelist here, baby. And don't like taking that damage, especially in such a grindy matchup here. But this is pretty gosh darn awesome. Drawing the Dreamthief here, we are going to get a nice little surveil action here. Definitely don't want any lands, so no, get the heck out of here. Get that out of here. That is very, very nice to be able to get a little bit of damage. I'm definitely not trading. We're not trading, no way. Put away your trade binders. We're not trading. Alright, then we can go ahead and flash in the Faerie Vandal. I think that's pretty good. But we are a little nervous. If they drop a Sheoldred, I mean, that's looking pretty rough. The Faerie Dreamthief makes for the perfect make disappear casualty counter, because then you can just use it on the back end and draw a card into life. But I really would like to Lord Skitter. Okay, I don't think that's that big of a deal. Yeah, it's not that big of a deal. I'm not going to like this flooding of the board. We definitely don't appreciate that very much. But I think it's okay. Alright, let's go ahead and flash this in. We're not blocking, but they're tapped out, so we're not worried about anything else. We could double block here, but well, let's actually do this. Let's actually double... Wait. No, let's not do that. Let's not get crazy. Let's just take it. Regroup here. Oh, a Kaito. Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, we're going to have to do the Kaito here. And, again, they're tapped out, so I'm not worried about doing anything.
Kamigawa fail my family again.
How are you feeling about Kamigawa? Kamigawa is personally, I mean, my favorite set of all time. I'm not even joking you. I mean, I know people think of it in high regard, but I think it's probably my favorite of all time, just because it was kind of like my heyday in terms of like the content creation game. So I'm gonna do a little bit of damage here, and we're gonna draw, because obviously we got the Faerie Vandal as well, and now we can kind of hold off this token with the 2/3 Faerie Vandal. Kaito and this Faerie Vandal is so good. I used to have the Mastermind. Shout out to Jay Villain, because he turned me on to the Faerie Vandal here. It does go for the throat on the Faerie Vandal here, but I initially liked the Mastermind, but the Mastermind doesn't really help the deck out. I think the Faerie Vandal with the Kaito, with Talion's Messenger, and drawing all those cards with the Dreamthief really help out the deck more so than anything else. So they're just going at my graveyard here. Do I want to chump block? We could just either... I think it's kind of worth chump blocking here. 12 to 15. I think our life could matter a lot. I don't really care about trading with the rat. Well, I guess if we were at 15, the rat could end up mattering. Okay, let's do that. Can we survive? Yeah, I think this is probably the right move. It is close though. If we should just chump block the Lord Skitter. All right, so because we can always untap the Sleep-Cursed Fae now. So I think the next step. Let's take a look what they have in their hand before we plan our attacks. Let's see what they have here. So this is not good. I don't really care about the Glissa that much. Liliana of the Veil, Sheoldred. So Sheoldred is a nightmare. There's just no way around that. That is not something we want to deal with. Liliana could get rid of something. I think we're gonna get rid of Liliana. Go for the throat isn't great, but that takes up their whole turn. But then we at least get the pick. Let's do Liliana. I don't love it, but we're gonna do it. All right, so I'm gonna swing in with Sleep-Cursed Faerie, because they're definitely gonna kill something. Let's do this. Let's drop the Faerie Vandal. Because now that we attack, we had to at least attack so that we can get with the Kaito. Lose 1 life. And we can draw. We can even make chump blockers with Kaito, which is kind of nice. But I think it's too enticing with the Faerie Vandal for this. And then we have another one too. I'm going to go for the Dreamthief. Maybe, oh man, if I would have known that, I would have taken away the go for the throat. Just so that we could, because if they just have Liliana, they don't get to pick it. We just get to put it out whatever we want. So We get to drain them for one more, and we got Talion's Messenger. That's pretty good. I'm actually gonna keep that. So 7 to 8, and this is about as close as it gets here. Hopefully they didn't draw a land. I mean, but Sheldred might even be too slow. So they are gonna kill the Dreaming Duelist. Okay, but that takes up pretty much effectively like their entire turn. Oh my god, a cut down. Oh, they top decked a cut down. Ooh. Ooh, ooh, okay. We can't untap the Sleep-Cursed Faerie, so I think I mean, obviously I'm gonna have to chump block here. Oh, dang. And they're gonna start with the Kaito. This is perfect. No, this is wonderful. I'm so okay with this. This is totally okay with me. Okay. I'm just thinking, should I like block the rat? I don't think so. I think we're gonna want this to block the Lord Skitter. So I'm okay with losing the Kaito here.
I'm hungry. I'm gonna get a snack.
So now we can go for Talion's Messenger. We can still untap the Sleep-Cursed Faerie. So let's swing with you. Draw a card. It's just gonna go away immediately. Oh, there's our Picklock Prankster. I do wish we still had that. That'd be really nice. Let's give it to you. And then we can just untap the Sleep-Cursed Faerie. We're all out of firepower here now, though. We have to pray that they don't draw anything too crazy. I think Sheldred is too slow, though. Being that we can untap the Sleep-Cursed Faerie, I think that they're too slow. So that does nothing. Glissa does absolutely nothing. That is way too slow. The Lord, this is going to have Summoning Sickness. They can remove anything they want out of the graveyard here. We're going to be able to untap the Sleep-Cursed Faerie. We're going to be able to chump block the Lord Skitters. 3 massive power. And I think we're going to be okay here. They're completely tapped out. 3 life, baby. Are they sending the house? Are they sending the rat infestation? They are sending it all, baby. They're sending it all. And let's see what we can do here. They are tapped out, so we don't have to worry about any sort of shenanigans. Do what you want. Krillin. I always call this the Krillin Tatsurachi. If you like Dragon Ball, you know. Let's go ahead and just waste no time. Let's do this, and we'll block you. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter too much. I guess we can just block you, and then we are just not going to be able to take enough. 3 to 3, and this land typically would aggravate me, but it does not matter, and that is going to be it. Let's do the fairies, man. Illusion. Well, hopefully we don't have too many illusions for us here. I'm gonna keep this, but this is very slow. We could always play the Picklock Prankster straight up, but it's a little scary. I typically like the Picklock Prankster to really be able to drive in some value, to snag some like ego drains, etc. And the Sleep-Cursed Faerie, if just on turn 2, just on time. Well, let's see here. Do we want to keep? Oh gosh, what do we want? Yeah, let's get it down. Let's just get it down. Let's bite the bullet. Okay, we're biting it hard. Hurts my jaw a little bit, but it does resolve, so I definitely can't do any spot removal with that ward either. So if this is some sort of control type build, which it looks like it's probably just classic Esper control. Wow, another Sleep-Cursed Faerie. Okay, so now we actually have quite the decision. Do we want to go in for the Kaito, or do we want to go in for another Sleep-Cursed Faerie? I think we're just going to drop the Sleep-Cursed Faerie. We don't have to worry about value, because Kaito just gives us value. I think we're just more worried about just like raw damage versus this kind of build. So that's okay. And then we can also flash in, if they don't play anything, we can go for Spell Stutter, or we can go for, I think, the most underrated fairy in Standard. I mean, it's definitely the Picklock Prankster. No one's playing, I mean, I don't want to say no one's playing it, but definitely a very good card. So Spell Stutter, get out of here. We also have another one too, so not too worried about that. Talion, the Kindly Lord. Ooh, okay. Let's do this. We're not ready to drop the Kaito yet because again, I don't want to get swept. I really don't want to get depopulated. So yeah, let's go ahead and end the turn here. We can pop the Sleep-Cursed Faerie off too, just in case they want to, if that's the route they want to go. I don't know if you say route or route. I've always said route, but I don't know if that's the right word. It always route, just I don't know. Route. Let me know in the comments. Alright, so Jace the Perfected Mind, I guess we could have let this resolve, honestly. They can't pay the ward cost. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, if we're playing I think we're still probably better off to counter it, but it's close. Because they're not going to be able to pay the ward cost every turn, but by the time they untap, they are going to be able to pay the ward cost for 2. Plus, they could just depopulate. If they depopulated, that's a no-go. Oh! Okay. I mean, they're really worried about this. So let's make them pay the ward cost first. Before we do anything, let's have them pay the ward cost. I think we're gonna do this. Let's Spell Stutter. I want to keep this Faerie. And we can either untap it, or we can go for the Picklock Prankster to kind of grab something else. I think we're gonna do this. Let's really put some pressure on him here. We obviously could have done something else, but we actually get another Spell Stutter anyway. So there's always a big chance that happens anyway. So this is pretty good. I'm gonna go for the Ego Drain. Let's take a peek at that hand, and then we can see what we want to do here. Sunfall. Okay, I think Sunfall is the most intimidating thing in their hand right now. So let's get rid of the Sunfall. I don't really care about this again because these ward costs are really gonna take their toll. Let's drop the Kaito and make the Ninja Pestern.
Many secrets I don't know. I got someone on the inside who can help.
We got someone on the inside that's gonna help us, Kaito. That is right. So they can go in for the Horn-Locked Whale, but we can counter that as well. Again, wow, they're okay. Okay, here we go. They're paying the ward cost. That's okay with me. We are finally broken free from these stupid stun counters. Horn-Locked Whale. I mean, again, we have the Spell Stutter, so like whatever. I think we just want to drop Talion. I really do. I think if we just drop Talion. If they top deck a Sunfall, I think we just cry, right? Let's drop this, and I think we're gonna go for 2. Yeah, we're gonna go for 2. A little nerve-wracking, but again, we have another Spell Stutter, so let's swing in, take our free card, and be on our way.
Thanks.
I don't know. That might have been a premature, but